Lately, I've been practicing rendering facial features a lot, and I thought maybe it would be a good idea to share how I practice and also share my progress. So here we go. As an example, let's start with mouth. First, I get a basic shape down, then map where the light and shadow separates, or shadow mapping. I remember one struggle I had with the staff when I first started was like, oh, then how do I decide where they separate? There's no such line in the reference. If you share the same confusion, I would say there's really no absolute right or wrong way of doing it. It's a design choice more than anything. So start by copying and studying how others do it, and just map it in a way that feels right for you, and gradually you will become better. Once that's down, I filled in the shadow area. If I fill in the entire area with only one value, leave the white of the paper as my light value, then this is a 2-value study. If done correctly, the drawing should already look 3D dimensional. Although this mouth doesn't seem to be like the case, together with some of my other 2-value studies. I'll explain why in just a bit. I'm using charcoal because I recently returned to Watts Atelier and that's what they use, but you can use graphite as well. The idea is the same. And if you're new here, I'm a 30-something pursuing my art dream on the side and sharing my journey here on this channel. This is part of the Features and Facial Expressions course from Watts that I'm taking. The first half of this course is about features with lots of focus on rendering, and that's what we are doing in this video. If you just get into rendering, definitely stick to the only 2-value phase for a bit. Once you feel more comfortable with that, you can add mid-tone, which is in the light family, not shadow. That's very important. Then this is your 3-value study, and keep doing that for a while. I say this to myself too because I definitely haven't done enough 2 or 3-value studies that I should have. Okay, before starting to add more values, there's one super important part of rendering we should all be practicing. That is edge control. Basically, whether the edge is soft and blurry or crisp and hard. This is actually also the part where I struggle the most at the moment, which you will see very clearly from here. On the left was my drawing that you just saw. On the right was a paintover from a Watts instructor, Travis Wilson. One of the main differences between these two drawings is edge control, and that can completely change how the drawings look. My edges are just way too hard and made the drawing look really flat compared to what Travis had. In his words, particularly when it comes to lips, you'll want to soften the edge of the top lip quite a bit. You'll want to look for ways that you can almost break the center of the lips too. That is, make it not such a hard line for where the lips meet. Here's another example with the eyes. When I finished this eye, I was like, oh, this was so good. I couldn't even see anything I needed to improve. Then I saw his paintover, I was like, oh, okay, I can see it now. Yeah, it's only after I saw his work I understood what softening the edges really means. So let's practice softening our edges, my friends. With charcoal, I lay the pencil really flat and smudge with my fingers, although I clearly haven't done enough. And here are more of my hard-edged lips and ears. With graphite, you can use stump for softening. I think one of the biggest challenges our self-taught artists face is that we sometimes can't see our own mistakes. So if you can, try to find some community that can give you feedback, and hopefully you can learn something from seeing my issues as well. And after enough 2 to 3-value practice, you can add core shadow, your darkest dark, etc., and continue to bring your drawing to full value. I'm not going to be getting into too much details there because first, I still need to do a lot of these foundations practice myself and don't know too much beyond that. And second, I believe getting solid 2 or 3-value studies with good edge control, plus the things I'll be sharing in the rest of the video, is way more important. Those are the foundations we need before moving on to fully rendered drawing. Alright, next let's move on to some noses. Before sharing more of what I learned and more comparisons, here's a quick story time. How did I even get these critiques? Yeah, the critiques weren't included in this course, I got them out of pure luck. This was a couple days after I signed up for the course. I got this email, And the subject line goes, "Returning to Watts Atelier." I was really surprised, but the first thing that crossed my mind was, wait, is this a fraud? I don't know why I think it like that way, maybe because we all receive so many spam emails these days. But apparently this email was not. It was actually from Travis from the Atelier. He welcomed me back into the school, and I shamelessly asked him if he could do any critique for me, and he agreed. I was over the moon. Like, this course is a standalone course and doesn't have critique, which I fully aware of before I signed up, so I was like already fully prepared to go through it myself. But anyways, that's how I got a feedback and even the paintovers, which is another bonus that I wasn't expecting at all. I just felt I got super lucky and even felt like the chosen one. Alright, now let's go back to our drawings. So apart from edge control, here's another thing that took me a while to realize how important it is for rendering. To kind of help explain my points, let's take a look at more comparison. So feel free to pause the video here and take a closer look and maybe think about why they're so different. Here's what I think. So softening the edges definitely contributed to the difference, but there's another reason, which is Travis' rendering reflects the underlying forms, but I was kind of doing it, but it was like so off. And that's why the paint over looks so much more 3D dimensional. Because rendering is not just about copying the light and shadow in the reference, it's more about the planes and the forms underneath. So like, think about why we see different values. It's because different planes are catching light differently. Some are turning away from the light, some are facing the light at different degrees. All of this is to say, understanding the construction, the plane is crucial for better rendering, to make things look more 3D dimensional. Of course, I know all of this in my head now, but my hands and eyes still don't understand. But I'll keep trying. So I think we should all be doing lots of construction studies and do them to the point where they're so ingrained in our head. And there's another benefit with knowing the planes well, is that you can make intentional decisions or designs to make your drawings look better instead of gradually become a copy machine of the reference. Another thing I found super helpful is Masterstudy, because I was just struggling so much with these noses, and Travis suggested that I should copy some of the Watts instructor's drawings. So here they are. I do feel like the structure reads a lot better compared to what I first did. I don't know if you'll be able to tell the difference, but I do feel like I now understand what rendering the forms means a lot better. And also, if you're looking for some good references, feel free to check out the Watts Instructors Gallery. I'll link it in the description below. You don't have to sign up for the course to copy from their great work. Also, please be patient with yourself. Don't be fooled by my time-lapse video. It took me 1.5 months to go through these studies. Each eye could easily take me 1 hour or more. When I started, nose like 30-40 minutes. So if you feel like you're going really slow, you're not the only one. I practiced feature here, but the method, the principles can really be applied to any subject. Also, if you're curious about why I started all of this, feel free to check out this video to listen to my story. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!